What's up? It's Miss Devoted Tiff, your chime in chick, back again to chime in on Married to Medicine. Tonight we had season 7, episode 3. This episode definitely was a lot more juicy than episode 2. So let's just jump right in. I'm going to go scene by scene. Of course, let me know your thoughts or if you disagree or agree in the comments below. So it starts with Dr. Simone and Quad from the ending of last episode where they were attempting to have a ponderosa. And it did not go well. Basically, the argument just dead ended. Dr. Simone ran. She didn't want to face the confrontation and talk it out. That was really unfortunate to me because just because you don't like what you hear at that type of meeting doesn't mean you should just leave. It tells me that either her feelings were still hurt by Quad not including her more in what was happening with her separation and divorce, or that she wasn't open to reconciliation in the first place. Because saying you can call me on my stuff, which is they show the flashback to her claiming to have apologized at the barbecue for what she said. All she said was, "You can call me out on my stuff anytime." That's not an apology. You sat there and said that she was being a little girl and that she had been gone missing instead of showing compassion, and now you don't want Quad to feel a way about someone that she was as close to as she was to Dr. Simone, and Quad apparently now isn't allowed to come back and talk about it. So I'm totally on Quad's side in that situation. She is definitely in a prideful place, Dr. Simone is, because I see it with the situation with her and Dr. Heavenly, and now with her and Quad as well. So we cut over to the individual shots of them with their families or whatever. Dr. Jackie's still in love playing basketball with her former basketball player husband. We got Quad giving body in her robe, doing her cooking thing, and Dr. Heavenly in the closet having a kiki. And then we go over to Mariah's house, Dr. Aiden trying to flirt, which is that couple, they crack me up. But hey, love is love. Then we go over to Toya. She's coming over to Mariah's house with Mariah's sister. And oh, the look. It was, I'm going to call it Southern Belle Christmas. She had these green wide leg pants and red pumps and a red bag. Moving on. Mariah is still mad about Dr. Jackie's comment and bringing up the drug allegations again. On that one, I'm kind of like, let it go. Dr. Jackie had only brought up the drug allegations in the show to say that it was breaking girl code. She didn't bring it up to throw shade at Mariah or to be malicious. She just brought it up as an example of girl code was not used in this situation. So I'll need her to just stop trying to make fetch happen and make some beef there that isn't there. As much stuff as she done re-brought up about other people on the show, she needs to chill. Meanwhile, record scratch, Toya wants to patch up with Dr. Contessa. She was like, "Oh, we both was looking crazy with her talking about my husband like that. But I do want to get to it because we're moving on." I guess she knew she does not want to keep a fight going with that one. Dr. Contessa is not the one. So then we go over to Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone meeting up. I love their meetup. Since season 1, I love seeing those two hang out. Simone still hurt over the comment made towards Cecil. Dr. Jackie wants Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Simone to make up. And I don't see it because those two both feel really strongly about how that situation went down and that they weren't in the wrong. Although I did watch Dr. Heavenly's review of the show, and she did say in the review she felt like she was wrong. So kudos to her. I was with her because he put himself out there. You set yourself up for a clap back, whatever. I still feel that way. Anyways, my thoughts are Simone should just charge it to the game. Dr. Heavenly would have never went there if Cecil wouldn't have went there first. Moving on. But since Dr. Jackie was pushing because she missed how Dr. Heavenly and her and Dr. Simone would all hang out together, they showed cutaway from when they went to Dr. Heavenly's home growing up. And so Dr. Simone challenged her and said, well, I'll sit down and try to sort this out with Dr. Heavenly if you sit down with Mariah. And I guess she thought Jackie was not going to call her bluff on that, but she did. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes later in the episode. Then we go over to. So then we go over to Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Contessa. So she's kind of feeling left out. She feel like her husband's basically saying, you know, you kind of left the family, and she's saying he thinks because out of town going to school that he don't have to include me in family decisions. Of course, we know Dr. Heavenly is very traditional. She feels like a woman's place. Not necessarily that she can't have her career, but she needs to do the career and take care of the children full time. So she's like, you ain't supposed to leave him with them anyways. My opinion is Dr. Scott is taking one for the team. So if he wants to kind of make the decisions without always calling her and checking in, she just needs to eat that because that's the trade-off. You want it to be gone and he has to hold down the fort. If he doesn't call you and let you decide everything from afar and doesn't let you do all of the mothering from afar, like, it's just temporary. When you finish this, you can come back and do the full-on mothering and just let him kind of be primary parent right now. That's my take on it. But they'll get through it. I feel like their relationship is very solid. They'll be fine, so I'm not too worried about it. This season actually is kind of good to see because I think out of all the couples, we never really seen them except being this model couple. But model couple isn't always perfect. It's seeing them work through changes in whatever chapter they're in their life. So I'm here for it. So then we go over to Toya's family. Of course, we learned that she had a miscarriage and that she did share with the kids, and that she'd alluded to them having a little bit of a hard time with it. That came up again in this episode because one of her sons is acting out in school. I appreciate them letting this be filmed. I think it was important for a couple of reasons. One, we don't really hear a lot about learning how a miscarriage affects the siblings of the child that is no longer. We hear about how it affects the parents, but not so much the children. I also thought it was good to see the family sit down and give them that open space to say, hey, how do you feel about this? And to be able to let their feelings out, because so many families are known for just telling their kids, oh, just deal with it, you'll be all right, shake it off, especially when it comes to boys. So I love that they let them kind of let their feelings out. My heart really broke when one said he was angry and one was saying that he wanted to cry. So it's just tough, but I hope that they will get through it as a family. Then, speaking of families, next scene we go over to Simone's family, which y'all know, I've said before, I love seeing them all interact because her sons are hilarious and like they're dynamic because they're all like smart Alex. It's just really fun to see. So we go to her family, again with them being messy. Finally, she calls a family meeting and she's basically saying in the meeting, y'all got to take out the trash, I got to do this. And what I thought was interesting is someone was like, so basically you work too much to take out the trash. It's almost like they flipped it back on her. And so she's like, I'm the woman in this house and there's 3 men here. Why should I have to take out the trash? But I don't know if this could have been the first time they talked about that. Like, it just kind of blew my mind that it was like, okay, so they haven't, are they used to you always taking out the trash? Like, is this a new development to them that you're trying to get them to take it out? Because they act like she usually does it and now she's too busy and they're looking at her crazy for expecting them to do it. Listen, I don't know. Then they switched it up on her and they had her to sit down and they gave their rules basically about her yelling before she even really knows if they did it wrong, which is such black mama syndrome. All I could do was laugh because it's like, Black mamas yell about everything. It literally doesn't matter. Like, they have two levels, like a sleepy voice, and then they're on 10. Like, it's very rarely in between. So they just gonna have to deal with that because black mamas yell. Um, then we go over to Heavenlies Family. A lot of family clips this episode. And of course, we said it before, Laura's growing up, she's blossoming. Heavenly's having a hard time with it. Dr. Damon's having a hard time with it. And so just seeing them kind of have that conversation with her was fun. But how Heavenly gonna ask her on the camera if she has any questions about sex? Like, sometimes I feel so bad for these reality show children because, like, I understand you're supposed to discuss everything on camera, but I'm not going to discuss the birds and bees with my mama on camera. That's just not going to happen. So, like, just seeing her squirm like teenagers do was hilarious to me. But yeah, they'll be all right. Growing pains is just what it is. Then we go over to Quad's house. Jackie comes over. Of course, Quad is, making sure she showcases her cooking skills. And we know Dr. Jackie doesn't really cook, so she was like, "Why would you buy this?" Like, she's like, "Because I want it fresh, not frozen." But it looks good. And so basically, Jackie was there to basically broker on Dr. Simone's behalf and was telling her, she's already apologized. Can you just apologize? Can you own the part you did? And I was with Quad on this one, like, she shouldn't have to apologize for choosing not to open up about her marriage. If you're a friend, you can't make your friends feel bad for choosing not to open up about certain things. Like, that's just how they roll. You just got to deal with it. Everybody deals with things in different ways. And if you're going to broker a situation, Dr. Jackie shouldn't have just told Quad she needed to apologize. She also needed to tell Dr. Simone what you did wasn't really an apology. And so if we're going to have this conversation, y'all both need to own something. But she only came to Quad was like, well, can you just apologize for your part? So I was with Quad on that one. Like, you can't be coming over here and telling me apologize when all I did was choose to keep this to myself. So that didn't really go anywhere. Then we go to another Ponderosa. This episode also ended with a Ponderosa. And this was a setup between Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone. They both invited Mariah and Dr. Heavenly. When they first got there and realized it wasn't just the two in the two, but it was four, it was a little awkward. But then Jackie went ahead and got the ball rolling and addressed her stuff with Mariah. I'm kind of going to have to go with Mariah on this one, which is interesting for me to say. Almost hurts me a little bit to say. But I'm going to have to go with Mariah on this one. If you're going to requote what was said about me, you also need to requote that I denied it. Like, don't just perpetuate it by saying, "Oh, well, this was what was said about me." Also say, "But she denied it." Like, bring that back in, because you don't want people to run with half of the story. So after she explained that, I got it. But it wasn't to the point that she needed to hold a grudge with her and not, like, be talking to her. But listen, when we say Dr. Jackie is the low-key queen of shade, it's the truth. She showed it when she said she didn't understand what she said when she said her slip was showing. She said, "I need either the Queen's English or Ebonics." Listen, Dr. Jackie will sweetly get you together. But they were able to sort that out. She was like, not even if you were offended, but I see that you were offended, I apologize. So that was cool. Then we go to Simone. Dr. Heavenly just does a general apology, and Simone takes that moment to say, you really hurt me when you said what we talked about in private. And when she was trying to say, that part wasn't what you said in private. He said on the reunion that he was not working. She didn't say, "Well, your wife wants you to find a job, so you should go find a job." She didn't say anything that was specific to a private conversation. She just said for herself, "You need to go find a job." She didn't say Dr. Simone says you need to go find a job. But I do see why it bothered Dr. Simone, but not to the degree that she should be more bothered with Dr. Heavenly than with her husband. And she just went to 100. Like, she's like, well, I'm trying to speak, and I see, you must not really want a reconciliation. And if you don't, I'm totally fine. Like, she went all the way to 100. Like, gosh, are you that mad? Are you big mad like that? I was like, dang. And then she got up and went to the bathroom with Mariah. It's like, there she goes, running again. But good thing the other two was there because they were able to come back out and actually talk, which what I would have wanted to happen when she met with Quad. And it took her a little bit of, she was still trying to be prideful and she didn't want to own it, even when she said, well, Dr. Cecil said something that somebody else said, and she, instead of saying he was wrong for that, she's like, oh, well, he was just, he was just saying what Mariah said, instead of saying he was wrong. But eventually she was like, I disagree with what he said. And then they apologized and made up for now. We'll see if it sticks. But I was like, gosh, finally, because her being proper like this is giving me a headache. So that was that. And that was basically the end. It ended on everybody pretty much patching up. And the trailer for next week looks really interesting. Dr. Contessa's daughter kind of says an interesting comments. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode. But yeah, this one was a little bit of reconciliation, a little bit of hateration, a little bit of denial, and a lot of drama. So let me know what you thought. I will catch you next week. And don't forget to subscribe and share. I'm doing this again, like I said, and then I will be doing this full blast for when Real Housewives of Atlanta starts back. So make sure you stay connected. See you next time. Bye.